Thiago Santos fighting Johnnie Walker, a all Brazilian main event here this weekend in the 205 light heavyweight division. We have Santos coming at 6'2" with a 76-inch reach, and Johnnie Walker coming at 6'6" with an 82-inch reach. Johnnie Walker has been hyped up quite a bit in his MMA career because of his size and his pure athleticism, but it gets him in a world of hurt sometimes, a lot of the times. And also Thiago Santos, I mean, he's on a 3-fight skid, but he's fought killers like Alexander Rakic, Glover Teixeira, and John Jones. He arguably beat John Jones. You can make that argument all day, but he also tore his ACL, both of them. I can't really remember in that fight. And I wouldn't say he's not himself pre that, because he looked good against Glover Teixeira. And you can make the argument that he almost beat Glover Teixeira before he got subbed on the ground. I mean, he knocked Glover Teixeira's block off and really just kind of got point fighted into oblivion against Alexander Rakic, whereas Johnnie Walker is coming off a knockout of last week's heavyweight loser, Ryan Spann. Johnnie Walker is he leaves his chin open too much for me to ever want to bet on him, especially with a big, heavy puncher like Thiago Santos, whose game is predicated on power. I think this is going to be an early night for Johnnie Walker.
See, I just want to do a bad thing, and I think I am going to do a bad thing. I think I'm taking Johnnie Walker, man. I think I'm doing it. I just, as much as I can say so many good things about Thiago Santos, and looking at it just realistically, he is the better all-around fighter. He's definitely more clean around the edges. He's been to hell and back. You could make the argument he beat John Jones, but you could also make the argument that if he doesn't tear his knees up in that fight, he beats John Jones easily. That was about as good of a fight as we've seen. It's between him and Dom Reyes probably for the closest fights ever with John Jones. But looking at it since the knee injury, it's not that Thiago Santos hasn't looked himself, because he's still very good on the feet. He still hits really hard, but in my opinion, he just looks a step behind. He just looks a tad bit slower, and that's not anything to his discredit. That's just talking about the injury. And I think the natural athleticism of Johnnie Walker, I think the push this guy really wants to have after coming off of a string of losses himself, he looked good against Ryan Spann until, he caught that punch. And like you said, he does leave his chin a little bit too open, but I don't know.
He's the king of letting his hands down and getting hit. He wants to get into a firefight with everybody. And that's a person you do not want to get in a firefight with, is Thiago Santos. And it's going to end poorly. Let me just tell you that.
I think he's going to swarm Thiago Santos. I think he's going to come at him from the first bell. And it's just going to be something surprising that nobody would have expected. I'm not saying that I expected it. I'm just going to say that,
expect the unexpected.
I think Johnnie Walker's a little bit more motivated to win this fight, if we're being honest. And looking at recent form, I don't know if you can base the husband and wife off of each other, but Yana Kunitskaya has not looked great in her recent fights. And now she's pregnant, and Thiago Santos is dealing with that too. I live with my girlfriend. Eesh.
All right. Let's get into the odds.
I guess let's get into the odds.
All right. We have Johnnie Walker as the plus 138 underdog, and Thiago Santos coming at the minus 155 favorite. These lines this week are pretty damn close, man.
I just mean, if we're going to drop a week and you're going to try to shit on us after the month we just had, look at the odds. Look how close these fights are. And when we inevitably win a majority of them, you'll realize how hot the calf kick experience actually is.
Hell yeah. All right. I say fight. Damn. I don't know. I'm looking here, Zach. I mean, there's nothing that I'm really liking.
I just mean, if I'm going to sit here and stick true to my word and truly pick Johnnie Walker in this fight, I don't imagine Johnnie Walker is going to beat Thiago Santos' ass for 5 rounds. I don't imagine if Thiago Santos gets to whooping Johnnie Walker's ass that he's going to survive that ass whooping. So I'm just going to stay very vague and say Walker is going to win inside the distance at some point. That's probably one of my less confident bets on this card, but I like plus 138 for the dog. I think he's going to get it done, but I don't know how yet. You know, you saw that elbow that he put and dropped that dude with. Nobody could have expected that coming. Like,
No.
Johnnie Walker, people have described him in the past as the next John Jones or the guy to beat John Jones. I think he's worked that hype off a little bit by getting punched in the face too hard a couple of times, but that doesn't negate that natural ability and skill he has as an offensive mixed martial artist.
Yeah, I mean, if from a Thiago Santos perspective, that's who you want to go with. None of these are looking real because like under 2.5 minus 235, that's not worth a damn. You go down here to Santos by TKO plus 105. I mean, that's not even worth. I mean, really, if you're confident, but I mean, that's not even that great, right?
Right.
Santos wins inside distance minus 120. I mean, there's nothing here from a bettor's perspective that you like are like, oh yeah, there's money to be made here. I mean, it's a crazy game. It's a crazy sport, and can't really go in on that, especially with those lines, in my opinion.
I was about to say, I think if you're going to bet either side here, it's probably safe to just stick around the money line area.
I agree.